Mwangi.
Morning, Juma.
Fantastic. Good morning. I see Eli Fadili Mramba. Good morning. How is Dar es Salaam?
Good morning. Dar es Salaam is very cool. How are you doing?
I'm well. Good to see you and have you this morning as we enjoy kopo letu la uji. Ama kwenu hampati kopo la uji?
Tunapata kopo la uji mara nyingi sana.
Vizuri sana. Sijui
Kiamsha
naona
kinywa.
mwatapa nini?
Kiamsha kinywa.
Ni
Kifungua
kiamsha
kinywa.
kinywa. Aha. Unajua
Kifungua kinywa.
nilikuwa pale nikaagiza kikombe cha chai na nikaitisha kitafunio. Nikaambiwa jamani, hautatumia kopo la uji na kitafunio, kinaitwa kitafunwa. Kwa hivyo ikabidi nimejifunza moja mbili. Sijui naona Joy, you could check is it Juma? You could check. I see there's a hand up there. Good morning, Stella Rio. Good to see you this morning. Good morning, Majabu. Karibuni sana for this breakfast. Welcome, Timothy Mutua. I see you. Hastings Majani. Hastings, where are you tuned from? Today, I would like to know who is from outside this great republic. I would want to give you, good morning, everyone, greeting from Tanzania. That is Majabu Karombaga. If you can unmute Karo and say hello to us.
Good
Karo.
morning, everybody. Habari za asubuhi.
Salam.
Greetings from Tanzania.
Asante sana kwa kuja katika cafeteria itwaje kwa Kiswahili? Mahali pa mankuli tunapotumia mkahawa. Karibuni kwenye mkahawa wetu wa majadiliano kuhusu huduma za wateja. We are honored to be with you this morning as we continue waiting to for others to join. Violet Modoni, good morning. I see you. Quite a lot of people are jumping in. Jones Otori, good morning. Who else is from outside this great republic of Kenya? Who else? We want to give you an opportunity to say hi. If you can lift your hand or you just unmute and tell us where you're tuned from, we'll be happy to hear your voice and to know where you are dialing from. Yeah, you also go to the chats. You can engage us on the chats. Stella Rio, do you want to say hello to us? And great to see you this morning.
Yes, good morning, Paul. Good morning, everyone. Habari za asubuhi. I'm dialing in from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania.
Asante sana, Stella. Karibu kwenye mkahawa wetu. Tunatumai kwamba utapata kiamsha kinywa kizuri kinachofaa na utapata mapokezi bora. Paul, you need to take something. That Swahili is going to mess you this morning. Precious Mweni, good morning, and how are you? Precious, just unmute and say hello to us.
Good morning, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Where are you tuned from?
Pioneer Insurance in Nairobi.
Fantastic, Pioneer. Nyinyi ni watu wetu. You have worked with us, I think, since we began this conversation. Every morning, give me 2 minutes. We'll be kicking off the session in 2 minutes. We're just admitting people. I don't know whether it's Duncan or it's Joy. Okay, yeah, I've seen the hand has gone down. Our guest is already in the house, and so I know most of you are not here because you want to hear my stories. Actually, you are wondering, why is this guy still talking? We want to hear that story from the guest that we know is in the house. So in a few moments, I will just relinquish these powers to the one who is taking us through this journey. Nancy Mora, good morning, and how are you? Do you want to unmute and say hello to us? You've been consistent in this breakfast. Must be great breakfast. Nancy, do you want to say hi?
Good morning, Paul. How are you doing?
Fine.
It's always a pleasure to be here. I look forward to learning. You know, I'm a bit
Okay.
younger in getting to learn the CX world. So getting the knowledge of the guys that have been in the industry is very much reawakening and refreshing. The breakfast is yummy. Keep up.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So msogee mwenzako kidogo hapo ili mtoshee. Kahawa ni mdogo, wateja ni wengi. Thank you very much. Doris Kisai, do you want to say hello? Doris, I can see your face. That's why I've called your name. And maybe Rose Morioki, good morning. Always pleasure to see you. But we are waiting for Doris to say hi. Okay. Great. See, the kahawa is almost full. We want to kick off this discussion this morning as we look through who we are and what we do, why we exist, and all that. And as always, it's our pleasure to host you every Tuesday from 7:30 to 8:30 as we talk about Africa stories. And this is the world of CX, the world of customer experience, where we host a number of guests every Tuesday, 7:30, as we discuss matters of customer experience, where we are shaping the future of customer experience, sharing Africa's CX stories. Earlier on, we had a discussion before we admitted a number of you, and we're saying we have lots and lots of stories. We are doing great things in this great continent of ours. We have our way of handling our customers. Unajua hata pale nyumbani tunapowapokea wageni, there's a way in Africa we do things. And this has also gone to our offices, how we handle our customers. But our stories have not been told. And that's why CX Academy, among many other things, is to take these stories and to showcase them. We want to have case studies discussed in trainings in and outside Africa, where we are saying this is what is happening in Africa. So we are shaping the future of customer experience and sharing Africa's CX stories. Our guest this morning, welcome to this conversation where at the Customer Experience Academy, we are committed to revolutionizing the customer experience landscape across Africa. And as you can see, as we speak, we already have people outside this country. We don't want to localize CX. We want to make it Africa stories. We've been having people from South Africa. The last 2 weeks, we've had somebody from Egypt. We have friends from Rwanda. We have friends from Uganda. And soon we'll be hosting a guest from Uganda. Later on, we'll hear stories from Egypt. And therefore, we are going regional. And through our blend of insightful storytelling and customized solutions in CX strategy, where we engage organizations at the strategy level and advisory, people and culture, and insights gathering, we aim to equip organizations of all sizes and industries with the mindset, skill set, and tool sets that they need to drive performance. We want CX that is bringing performance to the organization, CX that is bringing revenues, CX that is part of the bottom line. We want to bring this into the organization where we don't want to be asked, what do you guys do? We want to show them what we do and our contribution to the business. Our solutions are designed to transform organizations and support professionals at every level to excel in customer experience. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to create awareness of CX trends. We want to be at the forefront when it comes to matters customer experience. What has been happening? What is happening today? What is likely to happen a year from now? I'm just holding myself not to mention what's going on now and what that could impact us, how that could impact CX. By staying at the forefront of CX development, we ensure organizations are informed and prepared to adapt to growing customer expectations. You know, customer expectations are always on the rise. We also empower individuals and organizations with CX expertise. We are committed to empowering individuals and organizations with the essential CX mindset, skill set, tool set, and knowledge that is needed to drive positive experience. Ladies and gentlemen, we are a one-stop shop. We are the to-go place for matters customer experience. And some of our programs include this great conversation that we have every Tuesday, the World of CX Breakfast virtual conversation. We have monthly champions webinars where we take your champions through a number of things that will help them to champion customer experience. And we have customer experience in-person training where we invite people to join in one place, different organizations, and we discuss matters customer experience. We have customer experience boot camp for leaders. This one, if you're in this room this morning, if you are in our Kahawa this morning, you don't want to miss this boot camp. Yes, we are calling it for leaders, but do you know you are a leader wherever you are? You make decisions. You want to align CX with your organization. This is one great boot camp you don't want to miss. 18th and 19th July in Naivasha. Make plans. Do all you can to be there. And then we have customized customer experience training. This is in-house where we co-create solutions for your organizations to make sure that we address the service issues, the experience issues in your organization. We have quite a number of faculty members, but for now, meet one, Dr. Lucy Kiruthu, who would have really wished to be in the room this morning, but she's somewhere some many miles above sea level. She's in a flight as we speak. And then you'll be meeting her the more you continue attending this breakfast. Then we have Paul Kitemu. And last but not least, we have Duncan Juma, our moderator for the day, our experiential customer experience facilitator. You don't want to miss this conversation this morning, and allow me to hand over the baton to Duncan Juma just to take it off from there and kindly serve it hot. Thank you and enjoy the breakfast. Karibu Juma.
Sante sana, can you hear me, Paul?
Yes, you're good. We just want to see your face now. And there you are. Karibu sana.
That's my face right there. I'll be sharing the screen a little bit. Okay, good morning, everyone. This is a beautiful, beautiful time. And thanks, Paul, for that beautiful invite. Today, as you said rightly, it's not our day. It's a day for people to listen to an amazing story from Africa, a lady who is doing quite a lot. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump proper into welcoming Lorna Omasire. Lorna, about Lorna, she has 22 years of experience, and currently she's the Senior Customer Experience Officer at the National Health Insurance Fund. CX experience, 17 years. We'll be deep diving to get to see the journey in this 17 years and what that means. About Lorna, her areas of expertise, ISO 9001, that's quality management systems, record management systems, information security management systems, occupational health and safety. She was involved in acquiring and implementing the above certifications for the fund. you know, and this is beautiful because the person and the story we are going to be listening to is heavily an expert, especially in processes and aligning them to make sure that they work for the customer. Her favorite books, Half a Yellow Sun by Chimamanda Adichie Ngozi, a great Nigerian writer, mimicked and studied under the greatest writer of all time, Chinua Achebe, and her other book, again, is Purple Hibiscus by Chimamanda Ngozi. Looks like she's very faithful, and maybe she'll be telling us a little more why Adichie Chimamanda Ngozi. Her hobbies: reading, cooking, traveling, seeing new places, listening to music, dancing with my daughters. That's a beautiful one right there. If you're going to achieve excellence, that's her favorite quote. If you're going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception. It is a prevailing attitude. I will say that again, said by Colin Powell. If you're going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception. It is a prevailing attitude. Even if you don't get anything else, that right there should carry your day. Favorite meal, mokimo, but only cooked by Auntie Lucy. I don't like mokimo at all, but God is helping me because my relatives make mokimo. So I'll be looking at Auntie Lucy's mokimo, and hopefully I'll be won over as well. Destinations you'd like to visit: Maldives and Santorini in Greece. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like us to almost like let's put our hands together, you know, an emoji welcome. Let's welcome Lorna. Lorna, good morning, and how are you this morning?
Good morning, Duncan. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. And I'm happy to be here.
Oh, thank you. That's great. One of the things I read there is you love Adichie Chimamanda Ngozi. Maybe why, before we start? Tell us a little more.
In the recent past, well, not so recent, it's been several years, I have leaned towards Africanness, let me say, and trying to celebrate us as opposed to celebrating other people. But for Ngozi, it's because she tells stories about African women, of who I am and the challenges that we face in Africa, you know, getting ahead or trying to be, being authentic. And it just speaks to me. That is why I love her. I love her.
Amazing, amazing. I also love her. I don't agree with her on some very radical position she takes, but I guess because I'm not lady, but
Yes.
I like her attitude towards speaking to inequalities and nuances from an African context, you know.
Yes.
If a visitor comes at home, it's the girl who's sent to the kitchen, it's the girl who's told to serve the visitors, and I think rarely do we reflect that way. And my favorite quote from her is she writes a book and actually addresses the idea around the danger of a single story, that if you know someone from one side of the story, you miss out on a whole context. People are not just successful, people are a bunch of many other things. They are a brother, they are a grieving cousin, they are an addicted brother, you know, and things like that. So karibu sana.
Thank you.
So let's hear, where did your career then start? You know, where did you start, and you know?
Okay, so I went to school. I did my undergraduate at the University of Eastern Africa, Baraton. And straight out of that, actually, I did a degree in education. And straight out of university, I got a job at one of the SDA colleges, teacher training colleges. So for about 3 years, I was a teacher trainer. at this college. After that, I got married and I moved to Nairobi, and of course that had to end. And then that's when I joined the NHIF at in 2002, sorry, 2002, early 2002. I was employed as a compliance officer, meaning we'd go to employers' offices and check that they are remitting the correct information, the correct money, that they're giving us all the money they're supposed to give us, and make sure that everybody in the company is registered. That became very, very boring for me, very fast. However, part of the compliance duties was to have engagement with the people in the company, with the staff, to help them understand and know what NHIF offers and what they are meant to do, where they're supposed to access services and all that. That excited me. That small bit excited me because then I was able to get in touch with real human beings who need help that I can make a difference to. So after about 3 years or so, there was an opening in the customer service and branding division. And slowly I tried to get in. I made my applications. HR was not responding. I went to the branch, to the manager that time, Ambassador Bella Omino, and she tried. And when things were not moving, I walked to the general manager's office and I forced to see her. You had to have an appointment. But I told the secretary, no, I need to see her. It will only be 5 minutes. I will not take time. And she didn't have anyone online waiting to see her. So I get in there. She was called Mrs. Mwangi, bless her heart. And in my youngness, when you're young, you have a lot of, what do you call it? You lack wisdom, but you have a lot of confidence. And I walked in there and I told her, Mrs. Mwangi, how long does it take to respond to
an
email or a letter or a request? This is not satisfactory. So she's like, what are you talking about? So I tell her I had applied. She's like, oh, okay. So this is what I'm going to do. I will call for your file and review it. And then, yeah, I told her, you're calling for the file now and you're reviewing it with me right now. So she looked at me for a short minute and she was like, wait, maybe I should do this. So she called for the file and she said, oh, I can see you applied quite a long time ago. And I'm like, yeah. And what have you been waiting for? So anyways, she actually drafted the response and she sent me out to the secretary to have it typed out. And then I went back to her and I said, so when are you sending this to my bosses, where I am now and where I'm going? And she said, don't worry, by the end of today. And for sure, she did. It was a Friday, I remember, because, and I came from the field and I cut short my duties out there. By Monday, the following day, I was part of the customer service and branding team. Now, at that time, the fund was getting ready to acquire the first ISO certification, the QMS certification. And my friend was in that division. So I quickly asked to join her because I'd been working, as I was waiting for my response, I'd been working with her, joining her, seeing what she's doing, helping also, and learning, pole pole. Now, the thing with new ideas, new concepts in the organization, especially a public organization, is that everybody is afraid of it. But should you ever have anything new, have young people involved. They will give you the solutions. So we were only two in that team, my friend Betty and I, and we worked like donkeys. Nobody knew what this isomonyama was. Nobody knew how to work it. We were like amongst the first public organizations to try and acquire it. We fought tooth and nail for every little inch that we needed to progress. We researched, we visited other organizations without official permission. And the organization that had been contracted to certify us, Kenya Bureau of Standards, those people were amazing. We'd just walk into their offices. Please help me with this. How do we do this? And they became like, they held our hands. And I thank God for them, because that was Margaret Kohler. I remember Margaret Kohler a lot. She was the kindest person. And Charles Maro, the best people who would have been laid on our path to enable us do this. So anyways, finally we acquire the certification. And after a few years, this function was removed from customer service. That time it was customer service division. And so we were left with customer service and branding. And that is how I ended up in customer service proper. From then on, because of the experience that I had had with in ISO gave me a vantage point to see how each and every process works, feeds into another, how it feeds into yet another, and how the customer is impacted at every point, how the journey of the customer is influenced or works out for them. It was very clear to me. So it was easy for me to give suggestions, even after the ISO function was removed from customer service. It was easy for me to make suggestions like, this is too long, or this is not working for the customer in this and this way. And luckily, people actually listened to me. Even that time when I was a junior officer. So looking back on that period, one thing that struck me and that has stayed with me ever since is that you can never do anything alone. You can never, ever do anything alone. You need and you must have collaborative initiatives, and you must have friends or people you are able to go to, and they're able to come to you, because at the end of the day, who are you serving? The customer. You all wake up to do this for the customer.
Lorna,
So yeah.
listening to you is very rich, you know. One of the things I'm picking just blankly is you never forget people, you never forget moments, and we can see the joy of, the help from Kenya Bureau of Standards, your director, but also the energy with which you used to walk into someone's room, you said it's lack of wisdom, but sometimes right now you might not be forgiven for lacking wisdom, but
Yes,
for
yes,
them,
there's
there's a lot of room for forgiveness. If anything, wisdom is necessary with all. So very, very interesting. Maybe quickly, just as we detour a little bit as we enjoy this story. So you are a trained teacher.
Yes,
you
I
were
am.
in school. Of course, you said sort of marriage interrupted that. Very powerful. The power of love. But
Yes.
point for us a connection between that student teacher or teacher
Mhm.
student, and then
Mm.
a teacher trainer,
Mhm.
and then customer experience. Was it clear in your mind that this is a career journey you are to take? But as you do that,
Mhm.
how have you overcome challenges that have come your way as you've been building yourself and growing towards being who you are today?
Okay. Actually, I set out. I come from a family of teachers, so, and I love training. I just never like marking scripts, but you can never always love everything about something that you like doing. So my plan was to be a teacher, and I started out as that. Of course, when I joined the fund, there was no space for that. But when I got into the acquisition of the standards, because you have to train your colleagues, you have to train your superiors even. Then I went back to my first love of teaching, of training, and I still do that for the work that I am doing right now. We still have to have engagements with the customer, with our colleagues across the organization. So I'm still keeping that that love alive, the love of
Okay.
teaching. Yes, yes.
But what are the
Now,
challenges? Has it been
oh,
challenging? It looks
oh
like you have
yes,
a lot of energy.
oh
The
yes,
way you speak looks like you
oh.
overcome things just like that. You jump into
No,
someone's office,
no,
say, sign
no,
here.
no, 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 no. This is the this is the first thing that I learned when I joined the customer service, customer service division. Customer service at that time, especially in the public service space, was the division where the unwanted, and here I was fighting to get in there, the unwanted staff used to be pushed to. Customer service was never thought of as a priority. It was actually a government directive that public institutions create a customer service section. You will fight for budgets. You will fight to be heard. You will fight to get things approved. You will fight. I remember two colleagues older than me. One of them was even in the manager in Garissa. We had worked together in my earlier years. And he traveled all the way from Garissa to come and see me. And he told me, I hear you're joining this customer service thing. I have come all the way to tell you, you are making a big, big mistake. A big, huge mistake. Please, Lorna, rethink this thing. What is wrong? So I told him, I love what I'm doing. He's like, yeah, you might love it now, but you're going.
Paul, could you just confirm? I don't know if it's me or
Nowhere to for help.
Okay, I think we are back. Okay.
Are you able to hear?
I can hear you. You keep coming in.
Coming in and out?
Yeah,
Sorry,
but we're
yes,
good
I
now.
saw.
You're good now. Yeah.
Okay. So this same person comes to me or to us
and
as
warns you.
No. Yes, at that time he warns me. He warned me, but right now he comes to us, the customer experience department, for help. I have this problem. How can you help me articulate it in this high-level meeting? Because finally, they are seeing the value of customer experience and what it can do for the organization. Yes, challenges are there. Nobody will listen to you. But if you believe in yourself, if you believe in what you're doing, you have to fight.
I like the attitude you bring on the table in terms of you cheapen the place of, like you make it look light in terms of how much, but I can see in the action that fighting, being aggressive, going for it, yeah, being
Yes,
available, and also looking at the challenge as the opportunity they are in. Because a lot
yes,
of times when you hear people say, we want to move away from, don't go to customer experience, customers are
yes,
complaining all the time. You'll be
yes,
tired, but for us, it's the opportunity. And sometimes it takes a certain mindset for
yes.
you to see that. Do you have any questions for Lorna? You can put it in the chat section if you have any question around her journey. What are these things you'd like to hear about her journey? But as we detour, maybe, Lorna, do you feel like from the senior management perspective and the C-suite perspective, what are the current thoughts or the prevailing atmosphere or environment around customer experience, considering that for government maybe, or government institutions, parastatals and all, sometimes it's obeying a directive, we should
Yeah.
have a division or a space, a department that champions HR. But from the leadership perspective, what are the prevailing attitudes in senior management as far as customer experience is concerned?
Okay. In keeping with my story, while we were fighting for most of the time, we ended up realignment of the organization and the structure. We ended up in marketing, the division marketing communications. So customer experience was part of that. And we had a director, Mr. Dongo. Right now he's at Nairobi Hospital. Mr. Dongo, being in the position of director, believed in customer experience so much that we were able to now finally make inroads into being heard in the organization, into being given a position of importance and being valued by the organization. Leadership must always have that kind of attitude, not only towards customer experience. If you have a division, if you have a process, if you have a section in your organization, it is not a waste. It has to work for the organization. And if you do not have a champion in leadership speaking for you, then it becomes really difficult. But when you do, right now, because of that, the experience that we had with Mr. Dongo, we were able now to acquire a high-level call center where people from around Africa come to benchmark with us. Imagine moving from what the heck are you going to do in customer service to African delegates coming from all over to come and benchmark with us. That would not have happened if we did not have that kind of leader at that time.
And it's the opportunity they are in,
Yes.
Lorna, listening to you is it's fresh air, because rarely do we have even people who are able to champion for customer experience. Needless to mention, how we think about government or government institutions,
Yes.
to see that there's this thinking, there's this, and there's giants who are championing excellence and customer experience becomes very, very powerful as well. There's a question, of course, in the chat where someone says, what are your best, tools or hidden tools that you use to champion for excellence? But before we do that, there are young people listening in.
Yes.
Sometimes they don't see the connection between someone who trained as a teacher, who ends up being a quality management specialist, a process specialist,
Yes.
and then also someone saying, you know what, I'll speak for the voice of the customer, I'll make their pains less, or I'll numb their pain, I'll try and help them overcome some of these challenges. To that one person, maybe if you go back to the young Lorna,
Yes.
in Form 4, in high school, at the university,
Yes.
what did you tell that young person?
Tell them.
What did you tell that young Lorna? Yeah, for lack of
Yes.
a bit. Yeah.
This is what I'd tell them, and I'm glad I took this path. School is just but a portal for you to become anything that you would want to be. You do not go to school and then because you do not ever get, like what happened to me, when I moved from home, from wherever I was, and joined my husband here in Nairobi, I was actually looking for a teaching job, TSC or wherever. But that didn't work out. What worked out was NHIF. So what I did is I took my experience, my education, and turned it and used it in wherever I was. There is nothing that you will learn that you will not get to use. I know there are people who say, these young people, oh, where will I ever get to use this physics? Oh, where will I ever get to use this concept in maths? But every piece of information, every learning experience that you have will always help you in the future. You never know when. It could help you, you could help somebody else. So take the opportunity to learn and move. Whatever comes up, take it. Do not shy away from it.
Very, very powerful. I don't think I've had someone put it that clear that school is just a portal.
Yes,
you
it
can
is.
transform yourself into anything. But maybe before I let go, I milk that question a little more. A school teacher is applying for a job in NHIF.
Yes.
You've been invited for an interview.
Yes.
What are you telling them you can do for them? And maybe if you, that's where this, if you do that, there's a young person who will say,
luckily, let me say, luckily for me, joining the compliance department, there was not a fixed, they only needed a degree at that time. So it wasn't fixed that you have to have a degree in what area. So I got in that way. But once you get in, it doesn't matter. It does not matter what position it is. I know of people who joined in as messengers and right now are managers. It was an opportunity. Get in, and when you get in there, don't just sit and say, oh, I was employed as a tea girl or I was employed as a sweeper, so I'll stay a sweeper forever. Do not. Learn.
I like that.
Learn. Constantly learn. In fact, I have what do we call it? A motto that I learn one new thing, at least one new thing every day. It doesn't matter what. It does not matter what. Oh, you learn that there are white lions in the Serengeti. Learn about it. Research. Why are there white lions? I know they're only, what color are they? Brown? Why white? Learn about it. Follow through with whatever you learn, whatever you pick up. And you're not too big, not too small to do anything. Take on challenges. I learned this from my auntie Lucy, the one who cooks the best mokimo. I'll invite you one day so that she can cook for you. She was a manager at Stanchart, a customer service manager, and once or twice while coming from school, high school, I'd go to her office and wait for her. Then now would go home, and I saw the way she treated her team. She was in charge of the tellers. And I remember so vividly that her favorite statement was, how may I help you? Not to the customer, external customer, to her team, the tellers. So she'd go around, anyone who needed water. She was not too high to go get water for you and bring to you at the counter, or a cup of tea, or to see that you are overwhelmed and pull you out and stand in your place as a teller for a few minutes while you get a break. So you're not too high, you're not too low to do anything in the organization.
Very interesting. Lorna, you know, your examples are very practical. I have listened to a lot of people, I've listened to a lot of, you know, and then they say something, it challenges you, but it's high up there. When you say learn something every day, that's practical, you know. Where you picked your lesson from Auntie, who loved the people and how she treated her team. And a lot of guys in the room are actually in management and they lead teams. And to hear this encourages someone that there's impact. Look at someone rolling many years down the line after observing her auntie, you know, just treat her people well. And you say there, you're neither too big nor too small. On one hand, your experience is currency. Go for it, you know, challenge yourself, learn. Very practical. On the other hand, wear the shoes of the people around you, support. And I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this. Maybe a little detour again before we go to the chat and look at the questions being asked, Lorna.
Yes.
Sometimes we start asking, is the wheel of customer experience moving too slowly, or what is the future of customer experience from your experience? From when you look at the line, when you plot the journey around customer experience. Remember, we started by saying customer service division, you know. Now we're talking about customer experience. To hear it from a government institution, we are excited. But tell us, what are you seeing? What is the future of customer experience?
When I say we, it's customer experience. Customer experience, especially for public organizations and even private, there'll be a time, and it is actually there already, organizations will not be able to do without it, especially now, because there are too many offerings. It is very easy for a customer to decide, you know what, forget you, I am going to your competition. And if everybody in the organization sees themselves as a customer experience champion, then you're going to make it. However, you have what we normally have, like, hizo vitu za customer experience. Hiyo ni kazi ya CX. So you push all the customers, you create the problem, the customer complains to you, but unakuja unasukuma kwa customer experience. Nyinyi want to deal with this problem. If we see all of us as being customer experience champions in the organization, there's no telling how high that organization is going to go.
I like that.
Yes.
I like going back slowly a little bit into a bit of what you had shared. The gentleman you shared a bit, Mr. Odongo.
Yes.
And you had mentioned that if the leaders get it right, it's easier for the rest of the team to pick it up. And now you have just encouraged us and said, you know what, it's not about the customer experience direct support team. Customer experience cuts across the organization. And if all of us get it, then we will serve our customers better.
Yes.
Lorna, you're very refined. Your lenses on CX are very beautiful and powerful. Did you do this by yourself? Are you self-made? No. Do you have mentors? Who are these mentors and what is your relationship with them, if at all?
I started off having Ambassador Bella Omino as my first mentor. Remember, I was a haughty young employee who found the processes, the public office processes, very slow and red tape, and I'd get into trouble, and she'd cover me. But she'd take me back and tell me, this is how you need to deal with this. So mentors are important. They will, they can provide personalized and experience-based guidance because they've been ahead of you. And that is what she did for me. She held my hand. showed me how to do stuff, how to interact with different kinds of people, because you will understand that different levels of people, you must understand your audience. You can't just walk into an office or a room full of professors and treat them the way you treat, or speak to them the way you speak to normal people. Let me just say normal people. So she helped me realize this and refine my skills. She walked with me. She held my hand. We would actually attend meetings and run those high-level meetings with her. And the interesting bit is should start off the meeting, and then she'd say, now I hand over to so and so, my staff. Or so and so is going to do this presentation and answer these questions. Pulling your staff into spaces where they'd never have gotten into is very powerful. Do not say, oh, isi or yenu, apana, where you are too small, or you are too low in the organization. Because of that, you make this person aspire to do more.
Mm-hmm.
You prepare them for the future, because soon enough, she left. She went to become an ambassador. So if she had not trained us, if she had not pulled us, if she had not mentored us, what would have happened to the division when she left, or to the department? So it's not about you, it is about everyone else.
Okay, I think that's extremely powerful as well, that you have had mentors walk with you, and you've mentioned graciously Ambassador, and you said one of the greatest things is she pulled you into spaces that maybe your title or your credentials at that point would not, but it had an impact. And I know we have mentors and mentees, you know, the relationship that sometimes, if they're able to pull you into those rooms, do not take it for granted. It moves your horizon. It helps you see things from where they sit. And even when they give you an opportunity to even just greet them, that confidence to address the public, you know, kicks in.
Yes.
But I've loved something you have said about being able to read the room as a skill that you picked, where you said, of course, you hinted that maybe professors are not very ordinary or normal people. You said the normal people and then the professors.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think what you're saying is that the ability to read the room, you might not even get it from school. And but until someone walks with you and says, this is your entry behavior into such a meeting. Speak only when it is necessary, or ask your questions, get noticed, and stuff like that. And I think that's what you have mentioned that you picked. I'm quickly reading a couple of questions for you.
Yes.
And there's I'm just opening my chat section to see what that looks like. And okay, I'm not sure I'm able to open it. Such an interesting story. Let me see. Good insights. Lorna, please tell us, what are your 2 best practices for giving excellent customer experience? 2 best practices. There's Wavi, of course, says very true. CX must be spoken at leadership levels. A sponsor for CX initiatives is critical. I know your friend Wavi, he's been listening, and she's rallying and saying, you know what, that is very, very true. Leadership has to pick it up. You know? Let me look if there's any other question. I'm just checking it through. Good. There's and you walk the talk, or it's just a comment, and you walk the talk. Sometimes it is taken a lot of second guessing to reach out to you over sometimes late in the night, weekend, but you always come through yourself. As a CX practitioner, this is something I really endeavor to do. And again, maybe this is someone commenting and complimenting you. You walk the talk, you live the talk. In fact, we belong to a group where when people heard that, Lorna, you're going to be speaking, the jubilation, the excitement. And this is not because of anything, it's because we see you walk the talk. Yeah, it appears that your organization has very customer-centric leaders. How did these leaders develop such a strong focus for customer centricity? I think those could be the two questions. One, your two critical areas in terms that helps you deliver excellence. And then how do we help leadership to focus on the customer or include customer centricity as part of their strategy? Because a lot of times you will hear leadership talking about the bottom lines, talking about the numbers, talking about maybe, profitability or saving costs and stuff like that. But how do we help them see the connection between customer experience and the organization achieving its target? Maybe you could attend to those two questions. Then if there's any other, you will do that. Go ahead, Lorna.
Okay, so the tools, this is from Shalom Wamburi. Excellence in customer service, in customer experience. The first one is to realize that this customer, you exist because of the customer. You exist because of the customer. Without that customer, you are nobody. For me personally, I put myself in the shoe of the customer and imagine that what if it was me who was in this need or in this space, what would I have loved to happen? And I deliver that. Number two is to keep your promises. Keep your promises. It might be difficult because you see, you are not just working by yourself. There are procedures, there are other divisions or maybe departments that you rely on to do this. But whatever you say you'll do, try to your level best to do that, and then come back and communicate to the customer. Tell them, this is what I've done. This is not, we're not able to do this or that. But make sure you personalize everything that you do. Because behind every question, behind every complaint, behind every query is a human being, a real human being. Once you have that, then you'll get it right. There was the other question. Please remind me, Duncan.
Getting the leadership to focus. Yeah.
Okay. This has been the toughest, but keeping at it. Make sure that I find that the reports that you might do, the reports that you will run at your center, make sure that you present them in a way that is going to make whoever is listening sit up. If it is a timeline, for instance, many times it's timelines being not being kept, right? Make sure that report shows what impact that timeline or not meeting that timeline is having on your specific target, or not for CX, the person who is not keeping. Because what you find is that customer experience in most organizations is the face, is the in between the customer and the organization. Everybody else does everything else, but you're here presenting, oh, this is our organization, oh, we are very good like this, but everybody else is working behind you. So show them what you're not doing, what they're not doing, how it is affecting the customer, or how it is affecting the organization. Once you do that, if you get your reports right, make them practical. Not those ones of, these people again with their big fat reports. Hit the nail on the head and you'll get results.
I like what I'm hearing. One of the things you've kept talking about is about collaboration with the other departments, but also you have painted a very good picture in terms of the customer experience sometimes is the face of the organization between the actual processes behind the scenes and the business or the organization. And so getting to report back, getting to say, this is what we are seeing. And then you've said, making the reports very practical, very easy to understand, and the report speaking to some of the things that are happening behind the scenes would give you a win. Lorna, I need you to send us away today. There are people joining workspaces today. Others are going on the road to say something. Send us some. What is this wisdom you'd like to shoot us with as we attack today?
Especially for the young ones who are coming to this space. The first one, and this is I'm passionate about this, is to always be learning. That one I am very passionate. Learn and grow. Do not choose who you're learning from. Do not choose who you're going to listen to. It might be the driver. For instance, when I started out, my first, you remember I was a compliance officer, and whenever the employer did not remit their dues in time, we penalize them. My first demand notice, I was trained by a driver because my partner had an issue that morning and wasn't able to come to the field with me. So if I refused and said, oh, Mr. Njoroge, you cannot teach me because you're a driver and I am an officer, I would never have delivered what I was supposed to deliver for the organization. So always be learning. Find solutions. We love complaining. Find solutions. Even if it is difficult, even if it needs a lot more, there are solutions that you can offer. Setting clear goals, personal goals, organization goals. Make sure that you work on them every day, pole, bit by bit. Find mentors and learn from them. That is very, 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 very important. Another big one is making your health a priority. I cannot speak enough to this. You must take care of yourself. Physical, mental, spiritual. Take care of yourself. You will find that CX work can grate on your soul. So you must do that. And be reliable. That one, be reliable. Keep your word. Those are my parting shots.
Oh, thank you. Can I see the emojis, the thumbs up, the claps in the chat section, or in, as we celebrate our speaker for today? Lorna, it's been grateful. I have learned it. Keep learning, find solutions, get clear goals, have mentors, prioritize your health, and be reliable. Let people count on you. I am not contradicting myself by saying you live these tenets. You're not just speaking from inspiration, but you're speaking from a very practical position. I'd like to welcome Dr. Paul himself from the CX Academy. Paul, what have you been hearing? Karibu sana. And thanks so much for your time.
I am just Paul. I'm just Paul for now, and I really don't want to say much. Listening to Lorna, I've learned quite a lot. And of course, when it comes from the doer, no theory, the doer, many a times I've reached to Lorna and I had not met her, but I always get solutions. Wavi, good to have you in the house this morning. Always a pleasure, and we look forward to hearing your story very soon. I saw the person from South Africa. I wanted to give her a moment to say hello if she's still there. Now, do you have a story you want to share? Are you in this room and you have a story? Kindly reach out to us and we will give you that opportunity to share your story. Remember, it's just about Africa's stories. That's all we are sharing. And as we bring this to a close, don't forget to enroll for Cohort 3 Champions, the CX Champions online monthly program. We've talked about the Customer Experience Bootcamp for Leaders. This one, let me just say it's a must attend. Get those approvals. A 2 days experiential bootcamp where we'll be looking at your CX lens, the leader redefined, global CX trends, strategy for CX success, winning together, and then we'll have project that will help us transform. Kindly get in touch with us. any day, any time through all those contacts. Please follow us on our LinkedIn, and we'll be able to share more insights. Go to our Facebook and you can listen to the historical conversations. Ladies and gentlemen, we really don't have enough time. We've already overshot by 4 minutes because I think the coffee, the cappuccino, the Milo, is it Milo or Milo? The cocoa was very nice. Lorna, thank you very much. That was
Thank you, sir.
insightful. The advice
Asante
was
sana.
detailed, and I'm sure the young who are joining this line must have picked quite some things that will help them to move in their career. Quite a number of comments that somebody is a teacher and they can see there's a future to get into this space. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go out there and practice what Lorna has done for 22 years. And who knows, tomorrow you will be the Lorna in your organization. Let's keep shining. Take care of your health. That one, I've taken it personally to take care of my health. It's the only thing I have. All right. Have a good one. I can see a few people are joining in, but we are closing the mkahawa. Our Tanzania people, thank you. Our Uganda people, asanteni sana. South Africa, I think the person left, maybe for other meetings, but have a great one. See you on Tuesday for yet another exciting conversation. But let's keep in touch. God bless. Naomba tuondoke tukawahudumie wateja wetu. Asanteni.